So to start off learning sheet music, we're going to start with the treble clef right here. And we're going to start by learning the spaces.
Learning how music works will help any musician in every way. Speaking music.
Most people learn the spaces and the lines by acronyms and stuff, but the spaces are really easy to learn because they are actually just the word face. So starting with the first space here, then F-A-C-E, face. So the first line, F, second, A, C is the third, and then E. Face is all the spaces, so that's really easy to remember. What I like about this is normally acronyms, you have to say them out, but face, you can just see it in your head. F-A-C, so the third one is C. You can see that really easily, and then it's very quick to know all of those spaces. Now for the lines, we have E, G, B, D, and F. And usually people do an acronym for this, like every good boy deserves fudge. That is how most people learn them, but what you do need to remember about memorizing this part of sheet music is figure out the best way for you to learn it, but it doesn't take musical talent. It doesn't take really anything except basic memorization and a way for you to really get that to sink into your head. I first learned it by actually seeing where a note was, like this note here, E, and I could remember what it looked like on my piano when I was like 10 or 12. And I learned it first from that before I actually learned the note names. Now, that's not the best way ever to learn it, but it's how I started. And then from there, I could learn it in different ways. And so start wherever you are most comfortable learning and get going from there. So here's a little trick that I've found for a good estimation of where it is. So this is middle C, like we've talked about before. One ledger line below treble clef and one ledger line above bass clef. And the C's are super symmetrical in our sheet music. So the third space going up is C, and the third space going down in the bass clef is C. So it's exactly the same distance, obviously, from the middle one. And then two ledger lines above is the next high C, and two ledger lines below is the next low C. Now, what this does is if you can just memorize those, then you have a pretty good idea of where that note is going to be. If you see a note that's way down low or way up high, sometimes people just kind of freak out and they're like, oh, I have no idea what that is. But if you see that it's right here, well, that's just two notes below high C. So it's really easy to see exactly right where it is. Maybe you don't know the exact note off the top of your head, but you know averagely where it's going to be, and that extra split second of, oh, it's going to be around there, it's usually enough for you to get right where you need to go. All right, so now let's look at the bass clef. People tend to have a bit harder time with this, not because it's more difficult, just because they don't use it as much. So people often use an acronym for the bottom, A, C, E, G, or all cows eat grass. Now, like I said, I would rather use face than an acronym, and you can actually still do that. You just start one note lower, one space lower. You're on F-A-C-E, F-A-C-E. It's not the same face as above because that starts in there, then you have a G on the top. But it's enough that I can see exactly where it is and remember that it is face. And then for the lines, we have G, B, D, F, A, or good boys do fine always. So G, B, D, F, A. So you need to learn this, like I said, in whatever way you can do it. The nice thing about this is you can take it to school, You can bring it to your work and do it on break. There's so many ways that you can just work on this without needing to be added an instrument in your quiet time and working on your music mojo. It's just basic memorization and letting it sink in.
Learn more about music theory in a simple and practical way on our website in our full music theory book. In it, we teach about the keys, the chords, transposing, modes, and the basics of sheet music. Speaking music.